This is panettone. Those of you who know us know that panettone is a bit of an obsession.
It's an obsession because it's a very good cake.
It's a cake.
It's not a cake.
How is panettone not a cake?
It's more than a cake.
More than a cake.
It's beyond a cake.
This is sort of the first year that we have been in the United States for Christmas and in need of a panettone. One year, for instance, Ava made a panettone, which was excellent, but it was an ordeal. We have a whole video about it. You can watch it up here. Then other times we've either been in Italy for Christmas or around Christmas, so we got our panettone fix right from the source. This year we're here in America, and so we started looking around for panettone, and we realized that it's a little bit more difficult than we were expecting. At least here, it totally depends on where you live, I'm sure.
In order to find a very, very good panettone that makes you appreciate this amazing dessert, you need to pay a lot of money. Because nothing less than, I don't know, $40, more or less, it can be a good panettone.
Well, this one, for instance, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Italy, this is considered like a budget panettone.
This is, in Italy is about €5.
And I think we paid like $40 for it here. And then, you know, in Italy, for instance, if you get a really good panettone, I'm talking like world-class, the best panettone, which we've had, is amazing, you'll pay like €30. You can't even find it here, but I can only imagine how expensive that would be here.
The second problem is that they are pretty dry. And I know this because I had.
Yeah, we have, you know, a few contacts in the Italian food industry, and let's just say we have it on good authority that the panettone that's shipped to the US isn't often the freshest panettone. Sometimes it's maybe the leftovers from the off-season production. So if you are picking up a panettone, look at the expiration date. We lucked out on this. We bought it online, and actually the expiration date is June 2024. They do have a long shelf life, but if you see a panettone and it expires like a month after Christmas, that's like, ugh. And then you risk having a dry panettone, which is just like not, you want a good panettone if you want to experience what this amazing cake has to offer.
It's not a cake.
It's totally a cake.
It's not a cake. Then we have also a third problem.
What's that?
If you want to do panettone by yourself,
oh, yeah.
it takes at least 1 month of your life. So I don't know if a lot
more because if you have to prep the sourdough yeast.
I said at least.
More than like several months in advance. So this year, it has led us to broaden our horizons a little bit and see if there was any panettone alternative. Turns out there is. Panettone, I guess you would say it's part of a bigger category of cakes.
They are not cakes, they are called gran lievitati.
So Ava found one, and it looks intriguing. It's a traditional recipe. Where is it from?
It's from Mantova.
It's an old recipe. It's older than panettone itself, which can be cooked in 1 day. This is sort of unique because while we're very used to making videos where Ava cooks some amazing food for me that I've never had before, neither of us have had this cake before.
For sure, what we are going to make, it can't be as good as a traditional, well-made panettone.
Yeah, well, the question isn't really how it stacks up to the best panettone in the world. The question is how it stacks up to a $40 panettone from Amazon.
This cake, because it isn't a cake, requires as the first step to create what we call in Italy lievitino. Now, in order to make this lievitino, this time we need the Manitoba flour. The Manitoba flour is a 00 flour that has a very high protein content. We are talking about at least 14%, 14, 15, 16, so it's a very, very strong flour. I know that finding the Manitoba flour in a normal grocery shop is pretty difficult here in America, even if the Manitoba flour is from America, so I don't really get why it's difficult. You can use also bread flour, but you will need to add some gluten to your bread flour in order to reach the right amount of protein that we will need.
Unfortunately, we can't tell you exactly how much to add because it depends on what kind of flour you use, so you'll have to do some math, right?
I know that there is an app somewhere in the world.
Okay, I will link to this gluten app.
One good thing about this cake is that you don't need the sourdough yeast as you need for the panettone. You can use just dried yeast. We had our first piece of butter because as the panettone, also this has some butter inside.
Just a little bit.
Try to incorporate, to crumble the butter with the flour and then add a little bit of water at a time. This is the consistency that your lievitino should have. As you can see, it's not a very refined dough. Now, we need to let it rest for about 1 hour in a warm place. After 1 hour of resting our lievitino or starter, as you call it in English, it should look more or less like that. And now it's time to make the first dough. And for our first dough, we need all the lievitino, some Manitoba flour, some all-purpose flour, butter, sugar, eggs, rum, milk, vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. We start with the lievitino, and we add also both of the flours. To mix the sugar with the butter and create a sort of cream, a very soft butter. When the dough reaches this consistency, that is more or less a complete dough, we can start adding the butter, but we need to add it a little bit at a time and be sure that the first batch is completely incorporated.
I'm getting Panettone flashbacks.
Horror.
At the end, the process, the basic process is the same, more or less. As you can see, our dough is very, very smooth. Is what we say in Italy, incordata. Incordata means...
Smooth?
No, it's more than smooth. It's like it has this consistency. I'm creating a bowl, trying to incorporate as much air as possible, and then we place dough in a bowl like that. We need to cover it and let it rest for about 1 hour in the oven, when the oven is turned off, but with the light on. And we need this because the light creates the right temperature inside the oven.
Ooh, it grew up.
As you can see, our dough risen.
Rose.
Rose.
It is risen, but
is
it
risen.
rose.
But it is risen. So now is the moment in which we need to do the second dough. And for the second dough, we are going to use the first one plus some more flour, some more milk, some more sugar, some more butter, and some more eggs. Our dough is ready, and what we need to do, like we did with the first one, is this movement that Harper should help me to understand how do you call in English.
I don't know what you call it, but you're basically sort of stretching the sides and tucking them underneath, like a pizza.
Like a pizza. We place it in the same bowl. And Harper, guess what?
Back in the oven with the light on.
For another hour. While the dough is rising is the moment in which we need to take care of the stuffing of our cake, no cake. We need hazelnut, almond, rum, egg white, sugar, a little bit of water, and this amazing ingredient. This amazing ingredient is chestnuts jam, chestnuts cream. I know that is not easy to find everywhere. We bought
Although
this.
we'll put a link below to where we got it.
You can use, for sure, maybe it's easier, the red beans Japanese jam.
The what?
Red beans Japanese jam. That's okay. It's okay.
Red beans
Everyone
Japanese jam. No,
yes,
I
the
don't know.
thing that they stuff the dorayaki, Harper. Or you can use also some peanut butter. So we start from grinding hazelnut and almonds. We need something like that. Now we need to prepare a sort of syrup. We need to mix sugar and water and make them reach a temperature of 240 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh, looking good.
It looks very, very good. This is the baking tool that you need to make your cake, not cake. In Italy, actually, we don't have something like that. So what we use the paper of the panettone and we put inside a big tall glass. But luckily, in America, you have this that is made for chiffon cake. One thing that we need to do is butter all of this in a very, how do you say, scrumptious. Don't make me laugh. Scrumptious way.
In a scrumptious way?
See.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
What does it mean?
Scrumptious just means very delicious.
I thought that it needed it meant something else.
How I would describe the way that you're buttering this is it's very supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Ah, you know it, darn.
Certo, we have the same word.
I thought maybe I could convince you that that was a real word and you'd start using it.
Harper, maybe I don't know what scrumptious is, but for sure I know Mary Poppins. And with the same scrumptiousness, use some butter on your wood
Your
base.
scrumptious board.
And now we need to form a rectangle. And it's not difficult because, as you can see, it's
Wow.
pretty soft. It's like this dough right now is like a cloud. We place our stuffing like this. And now we roll. Right now it resembles a strudel more than a cake. And we need to place this here.
Do you need a hand?
Close, because at the end we shouldn't really see the conjunction.
The seam.
Harper, and guess what?
You cover it and let it rise again.
Yes, but this time there isn't a precise time, because our cake no cake will be ready when it will reach the edges of our chiffon cake mold. I think that it's time to bake it.
And the oven agrees.
So let's go.
It kind of smells like panettone in here, actually.
The smell. Now what we need to do is let it completely cool down, and then we can keep working on it. You see why you need to be very scrumptious when you batter the mold, because you can just take and put there. We are making, I'm making a very simple glaze made with powdered sugar, hot water, and I'm going to add just some drop of lemon.
The moment of truth has arrived. I say we open this first.
That. Cioè, this is the smell of Christmas.
Has the budget panettone already won?
Okay, look, it's pretty soft.
Ooh, it looks buttery smooth.
It's a very good result. The smell is good.
All right, I guess there's nothing left to do but taste them.
Okay, my opinion, we go first with
The panettone. Okay,
no.
see what we're dealing with here. Interesting. I can already feel something.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. See what we're working with here. Does that taste similar to the bauli that you would get in Italy? Does that taste the same?
It's the same.
Exactly the same? Okay, because I've never had bauli there. Okay, now it's time to taste this. What is this called?
Anello del Monaco.
Lamb? Anello?
Anello, non agnello.
Oh,
Anello means ring.
that makes more sense. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito.
Now I see what we're working with here. Do we need a moment? Does Ava need a moment? Does Ava need to finish that slice before she talks?
No.
Oh, no, I maybe needed a moment.
Maybe both of us need a moment.
All right, first let's back up. Let's explain how the bauli is.
Is good. It's edible. It can give you the idea of what a real
Artisanal.
Panettone is
It's got the right flavor. And so maybe if you're someone like us who just loves panettone and you can't get enough of it, like I would be very happy if I got that. It's not like super disappointing or bad or anything. It's good, but having compared it to really good panettone, it is on the dry side. It's not quite as light and fluffy as it should be.
Like,
And you can kind of tell by feeling it, it just is a little more
dense.
dry, and it's not a great specimen of panettone. This is an amazing specimen of whatever it is.
this anello del Monaco, it's something that it's unbelievable good. Right now, I have just a regret that I didn't know about this before. Because actually, it's something that is so good.
Because it's made in a slightly different way, it's not as light and fluffy as a panettone, of course, but it does its own thing in just an incredible way. The dough is still just like super buttery. It's not dry at all. This stuffing is amazing. That is worth the entrance fee alone. I think it's safe to say that if you're an adventurous baker
Do it.
and you're up for making something at home instead of going to a store and spending way too much on a middle or low quality panettone, it's worth the effort.
If you want to give to it more panettone flavor, you can also substitute the filling that is amazing by itself, by the way, with maybe raisin, candied fruit, with some orange paste. So you can give the flavor of the panettone.
You're saying we could have this, but with the flavor of a panettone?
Hmm.
Well, now we got to start all over again, Ava. Thank you guys for coming along on this. I was about to say cakey. That sounds weird.
No, it's not a cake.
On this
Gran lievitato.
Grand Levitato.
Gran lievitato.
Gran Lievitato adventure with us. Speaking of cakes, though, check out this amazing Sicilian orange cake that a pasta grammarian made. Well done, Linda. It looks amazing. All right, guys, we're gonna be taking Christmas Eve off, but we'll see you again soon. In the meantime, Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate, and Happy Holidays to all of you. And God bless us, one and all.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Ciao. The most incredible thing is that you finish that while you have a piece of unfinished panettone in front of you. I don't think that's ever happened.
No, because usually I have a panettone in front of me, I told the panettone. My family can testify, never open a panettone in front of Eva because after 1 hour it's gone.